This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys is brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. Head to patreon.com/Radio Mike and for as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week. And search 20th Century Boy on your favorite podcast app to hear more from me every week. 50 years after the final Harry Potter book, Harry Potter is now headmaster of Hogwarts, ready to usher in a brand new generation of witches and wizards. My name's Radio Mike, and I love Harry Potter. In fact, I love Harry Potter so much that when I was a kid, I wrote a series of 7 Harry Potter fan fiction novels. This is book 2 in that series. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament. Everyone, welcome to Harry Potter and the Boys, Book 2, Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament, a fanfiction podcast by me, Radio Mike, Sammy Garlepp, in the room again. How are you, Sammy?
Oh, really great, Mike. It was good. While you read out the title of the podcast, I had a quick time to read an entire novel. Actually, and a good one. It was great. Listen, that's the longest title I've ever heard.
Yeah, okay. Well, we should announce, Episode 1 of Season 2, Chapter 1 of Book 2, Voldemort's Last Fart, we recorded, Sammy and I recorded that last year, so there's no references to 2022 in that.
It would be weird for the listener, welcome. For you, you're thinking it's just been 1 week since you've heard me on the podcast. But for us,
in real time,
I haven't been on the podcast in like over a month.
Probably more than a month, like 2 months, I think it's been.
So if I don't remember anything from the last episode, you'd be like, but it only happened last week. What, for me, it isn't.
Yeah.
It's so long ago.
What happened was, and this can springboard us into the next thing. I was...
Boing.
Boing, here we go.
Doing our own sound effects now.
I was springboarding into Season 2. So, last year, but then, and we'll get onto this, I got a full-time job on a TV show,
awesome,
which I'll talk about in a sec. So I put Harry Potter and the Boys on hold, but now what's going to happen in Season 2, which I'm so excited about, is Sammy Garlepp is going to... Basically, the hardest part about the podcast is each week getting a different guest into my house, recording with them, and doing the podcast with them. What a drag. Such a pain. Yeah. Organising it, teeing it up, and then, working around someone else's schedule. So to streamline that, Sammy Garlepp has agreed for at least the first 5 weeks or so, Sam's going to be the guest on the pod, which I couldn't be happier about.
What?
And thank you. Oh, you don't know about this? Didn't my people speak to your people?
What? Mike, we
didn't talk about that.
I think you said 5 minutes.
Oh, no, 5 weeks.
I've got to go in
Well, when I say my people talk to your people, I mean I talk to you.
So 5 episodes. I'm going to be here for 5 episodes.
Get used to this voice and this kind of humour.
If you guys are sick of me or anything, just send a message in to Mike or me.
Yeah.
But happy to take any advice. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you.
And
Glad.
It does, even though the intro, that did sound like I was literally the only person you could find to agree.
No, not at all. I actually, I thought about if there was someone who I wanted to do it, just to streamline it, and someone who I know will perform.
Dilrook.
I didn't think Dilrook. Not that I don't think Dilrook would perform, but I'm not that good friends with Dilrook.
You heard it here first. Mike doesn't think Dilrook can perform on the podcast.
No, I do. Dilrook did a great job on the pod. But yeah, you were probably the most recurring guest on Season 1 and always had a blast. And the most viral video of the podcast came from our app.
Yes. From
the school Anzac Day thing.
Oh, God. With the Vommy Trum.
Yeah, Vommy Trum.
A lot of people in the TikTok comments arguing about whether it was a bugle or a trumpet. And
hopefully we get another bugle trumpet controversy in this season, but you never really know with this show. So thank you so much, man. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, loyal listeners, for having me. Yep, really open to any feedback.
Because a fan of Harry Potter is usually called a Potterhead. Are our fans called boyheads? Because
I hope not. I really hope not. Boy head, you just don't want to...
Head boys.
Head boys.
That's a double
Even
thing.
head boy. Yeah, I like head boys.
Our head boys and girls. Our prefects. But anyway, I'm going to plug at the top. If you want to support this show, Sammy now gets paid to be on the show. Well done, Sammy.
Thank you so much.
The pittance of pay.
$15,000, Mike
Yeah,
said.
it's a $15,000 payment. So patreon.com/Radio Mike, if you want to help make this show happen, as little as $1 a month can make it happen. Before we start...
Yeah.
You and I are actually working on the same TV show at the moment.
Yeah, well, yes, listeners, I'm sure you care about this. They do. But yeah, Mike...
Everyone here who wants to listen to a Harry Potter fanfic podcast just can't wait to hear us talk about our job.
Are we... Yeah, so, well, you essentially got me the job on this show.
So the show is The 100 with Andy Lee, season 2. They're on their second season, so are we.
I'm really competing. I'm glad you said it because I wasn't sure if we're allowed to say it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're allowed to say it. Like, they're running promos on Channel 9 for it, so people know it exists.
I feel like there's some kind of NDA, confidentiality.
Well, I did a whole segment talking about it on my other podcast, so like, if there is, I'm fired.
You did not read your contract, obviously. I read mine because I've been screwed before. These guys, you can't trust them. The Hamish and Andys of the world.
Everyone gets fucked over. Yeah.
We're working on this show. It's great.
It's really cool. So me and Sam are probably can we say like we're the two kind of, well, not the two, but we're working on scripting and putting together the shows, and then Sam runs through the scripts and adds other jokes and visual elements that will play out on the show. So when you watch the show, a lot of the stuff that you'll see is by Sam and I.
Oh, yeah, it is. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot more FaceTime with Andy Lee than I thought I was going to have.
Well, your whole job is basically just having meetings with Andy and being like, here's a meme. I think it's funny.
I know, and we're on a Zoom call and I was presenting them and I saw him in the corner in his little Zoom like laughing, and I was like, what are you laughing at? Like, it must be something else. He's like, no, that was really funny. I was like, oh.
I'm so surprised.
I'm like, I just assumed you were focusing on something else.
That's the pits of insecurity that you have, that your job is to show Andy funny stuff and he couldn't possibly be laughing at what you've presented him. No, but Andy's so great to work with as well.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Like, so collaborative, and don't you reckon he just is so good at feedback and making you feel like your contribution is really valid?
And like it's a collaborative process.
Yeah.
And he works really hard, and that's what...
Yeah.
I guess I already probably knew that, but you might think they just roll into their pod and all that. But
yeah. So we've been really enjoying that, and it's been really cool to for us to work together on something more professional than a Harry Potter podcast.
Speaking of more professional, I don't know if we want to go on. We keep going on this.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Sorry, guys.
I've worked on a TV show before, but I feel like I've actually been thrust into a slightly more senior position because I'm getting so many emails, and I have no idea.
Do you mean on the 100?
Yeah.
Same with me. Like.
Well, we are not cut out for this.
Like, the last TV show I worked on was Hamish and Andy's Perfect Holiday, and I was junior researcher. I was the bottom of the ring. Now I'm like script associate producer.
So I know you guys are listening thinking, wow, these guys sound professional. No, we're out of our depth completely.
We're just treading water.
Me and Mike are emailing each other, which I find fun. Just sending, and then you text me saying, I've sent you an email. I'm like, well, you could have just texted.
So what? So who's sending you emails?
Well, you sent me an email. Okay, I need to get this one. Mike sent me an email, and he said, "Hey Sam, just looping you in with this other senior producer," and it put her email in the email too.
Yeah, Minnie.
And I just thought, okay, why am I being looped in?
Sorry.
No.
Okay, continue.
Then I got an email from her.
Yeah.
About a segment of the show I didn't think I was involved in at all.
Which segment?
Celebra Really. She's like, hey, here's the link to the whatever SharePoint of Celebra Really. I've also attached it. So if you want to when you make any changes, I thought I don't make changes to this bit.
Also, go on.
Then I click on the link to the SharePoint. I don't have access to it or permission to access it. And then she said, I've attached it, but she didn't attach it. So I'm like, now do I reply going, hey, Minnie, you didn't attach it, don't have permission, also don't know what the hell you want my input on.
Well, you don't know. That's not a segment you do have. I don't know why you got that email, but that's funny because Minnie said, hey, I need Sam's email to loop him in on this. I was like, great. I did that intro email, but yeah, I don't think you are doing anything for that.
Well, so what
I think she thinks you're in charge of all the graphics, which you're not.
No, not at all. So that's why I did the really professional thing of just ignoring it until it goes away. So haven't had any follow-up emails, but haven't checked. And that's how I lost my job on the 100.
All right, well, that's been really fun.
What's this about again?
It's a Harry Potter podcast. We've been going for 9 minutes now, and we haven't really spoken about Harry Potter.
Well, I need a bloody time turner to keep up with all my emails.
I guess so, yeah, sure. I'm going to say a lot of people say they had a hot boy summer or a hot girl summer. I didn't. I had a Harry boy summer because I spent a lot of the summer, I listened to the Stephen Fry audiobooks of Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows. Amazing. Last night I rewatched the Half-Blood Prince movie. Actually thought it was amazing. And I've been playing Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4 on PS5. Amazing as well.
I love that game.
It is so good. They retell... I reckon if you like Harry Potter, go on YouTube and type in Lego Harry Potter cutscenes. The way they adapt the story with no words is incredible. It's really funny as well. It's a great adaptation. So
I remember that being one of my... Yeah, I remember playing that heaps on PS2.
Yeah, so it's really fun. So I've been doing that. I understand because you're now a permanent member of the cast of the show. Wow. You've decided to bring in a segment of sorts.
I forgot about that. And I believe you've made an opener.
I haven't yet, but I'll put it in post. So here is the opener to Sam's segment, and it's called This Sammy's Spells. And we're back.
Sammy's spell? I thought we talked about inventing incantations.
No, no. So the segment is Sammy's Spells, so explain this segment to the listeners.
Okay, this segment is an idea I thought of so long ago, not just a few days ago.
A passing comment on the phone.
So I thought, because sometimes when you're watching Harry Potter or reading Harry Potter, you think, why don't they have a spell for this? You know, like some things you think are so, like they've got them and you don't even know why they have those spells.
Yeah.
They've got, because I think you've got...
Ferroverto. Turn a rat into a teacup.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's using that?
Then there are some spells you're like, why don't they have one for that if they've got it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got two for, they've got like Engorgio, and then they've also got, like a beginning charm or whatever it's called. They're two spells that do the same thing. So I thought
Engorgio is the beginning charm.
No, but there's definitely two.
Okay. Someone do a check on that. Amy, do a check on that.
There's two spells that just make things bigger. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Well, so I just thought I would come with a spell every week.
Yeah. A practical spell that you think should be in the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, so what's this week's spell?
This one, I didn't really come up with the Latin yet. So this first.
so it's just okay.
Okay. I'm going to call this one Extracto Orquadio.
Oh, can I guess what it is?
Yes.
So is it that if there's an awkward situation, you quickly use the spell and it makes it not awkward?
100%. Because...
But how does that work?
Okay. Because I feel like often, even when you think, look, this doesn't have to be awkward, things can be awkward.
Yeah.
I'm talking about if you get in an elevator and there's one other person in the elevator, that's awkward. Don't you feel that awkward tension no matter what? Even though you're like, well, we're both just catching an elevator. This shouldn't be awkward. You should be able to get in the elevator. There's two people there and you just go, Extracto Orquadio. And you both just feel at ease.
Yeah, but can I make a counterpoint to that? Like, I love the idea, but don't you think using Extracto Orquadio is the equivalent of saying, well, this is awkward? Right?
No.
Yeah, no, it is, because as soon as you use the spell, the other person will be like, well, you just made it awkward because you acknowledged that it was awkward.
No, but they don't know because it's just the feeling's gone.
So, but how does the spell work? Does it is there a spell then that's just like Happyophilius? And
I
you
hope
just
so.
feel happy?
We'll tune in next week.
It writes itself.
I think that's a good one.
Can you change someone's emotions with a spell? I don't think you can.
What about, kind of. Well, I mean, potions maybe. Or,
yeah, true.
when you can fund.
Yeah, but
Someone?
I just think what I think it should be is what it's doing is it releases some kind of nice aroma into the air that makes everyone feel at ease. Like, I think it's not like, I don't know. That's just what I think.
I'll come up with some more practical ones. I feel like that is a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Well, can I just say, for right now, extracto or quatio.
And I feel better already. I feel amazing.
It's time for us to get into the book, unless you have anything else in your notebook you wanted to read.
No.
Okay, well, let's get on to the long-awaited Chapter 2 of Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament. So excited to be following up and getting more and more into this book and seeing what happens. Now, you may remember we left off, you probably don't remember. Voldemort's Last Fart was the chapter where Voldemort, Boris Mailman and Mr. Charger were on a beach somewhere and they released Voldemort's face from Mr. Charger's bum, and then there was some mention of, because I re-listened to it last night, there was some mention of a guy called Vladek.
Oh, yes.
Who was briefly mentioned in one of the last chapters of HP and the Bee.
Yes.
So that was a nice little thing. And then a Hufflepuff oaf was mentioned. We couldn't really do that. You suggested it might be Justin Finch Fletchley.
Ah, yes.
And then also it ended with Mr. Charger naming Gemini Jones and Lockie Lockhart as two students of interest. That's where we left off.
And we did think that they'd come up.
We did.
Actually, I didn't. I think I famously said that
it would never come up again.
It would never come up again.
But we move on to Chapter 2. Who knows what will happen?
And as always, we start by reading the title of the chapter.
Which is, Sammy Garlepp, take it away.
Chapter 2. A chapter that just sets up the book a bit. Actually, I misread it. A chapter that...
We're off to a flying start, guys.
A chapter that just sets the book up a bit.
The chapter that just sets the book up a bit. Fantastic title.
I think that's probably more correct than
a chapter that just
sets up the book a bit.
Yeah, it just sets the book up a bit. So it's like, hey, what do you reckon you'll call chapter 2? Oh, well, it's just really setting the book up a bit, so I'll call it that.
What was chapter 1 then? That was just
that was like a mysterious opener.
Actually, I guess you do that, don't you? You go, oh, what's going on here? Then there's a bit more exposition.
Yeah. So I feel like we're back, from what I can tell, we're back with the boys now. Chapter 1, the boys didn't appear at all. It was almost like a pre-opening credits kind of thing to set it. Chapter 1 was a chapter that just sets the book up a bit. But also, really, yeah.
I guess the first act is really
just setting the book up.
And then there's an incident.
Yeah.
Or maybe there was no, don't worry. All
right, let's see how we go.
Okay, here we go. Michael Carmichael had one of the best summers of his life the summer after his first year at Hogwarts.
Okay, great.
Good. I hope
no funny comments, no witty remarks.
Not only did he have to go to school... Not only did he not have to go to school for 3 whole months, he also didn't have to worry about his potions teacher, Mr. Charger, who had tried to viciously torture and murder him, or his school principal, Harry Potter, who turned a blind eye to a series of unhumane behaviour and deaths, or the groundskeeper of his school, Hagrid, who seemed to have no idea what was going on at any point in his life.
Now, that
was a long sentence, I'll say, that to start.
But exposition-wise, phenomenal summary of essentially the 3 main things in book 1. So, Mr. Charger tried... So it's like, hey, how was school this year? Mr. Charger tried to kill me.
Yep.
Harry Potter ignored everything.
Check.
And Hagrid has no idea what's ever going on.
You better go to potions now.
I'm pretty sure in the last chapter of book 1, Hagrid says, you better go home now.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice little tie-in, I thought. But, okay. Okay, so Vicious, I like that because he's like, I'm not even thinking about how my teacher tried to murder me and now no one cares and all that. I'm just enjoying myself and I've got no trauma or feelings attached to it.
Yeah.
I don't think about it when I go to sleep or anything or when I'm awake.
I don't have nightmares. You know what I like though? That clearly the boys, or at least Michael, is aware of the fact that Hogwarts is not a safe place for kids.
Which actually, yeah, like in the real books, like Hogwarts is the safest place in the world. It's not a lot of bad shit. I feel like if Harry had stayed fucking home,
Yeah, he would have been probably safer.
a lot safer.
You know what I actually thought just from rereading the books? If I was just, a normal Ravenclaw kid just going to school.
Imagine being normal.
I
Anyway,
know.
sorry, you go.
But like, I would every year just been like, oh, fucking Harry Potter. Every year, mate. Just have 1 year where something doesn't happen with you. Yeah.
You'd be a Ravenclaw kid and you're like, I mean, I just got 100% my charms test. Does anyone care about that?
Yeah, exactly.
No one's ever done that.
Yeah. And
No one's ever got 100% on charms. And I just did it.
all my tests.
All my tests. I'm actually...
So Flitwick loves me.
Yeah.
But Harry Potter's the one who gets but even just imagine if at our school every year the same kid murdered a teacher, nearly died, uncovered a conspiracy. It's just like, fuck off, mate.
And you wouldn't even want to be friends with them.
No. You put yourself in danger by being near them.
Like Ron and Hermione, how was your year? Oh, well, we nearly died because Harry's fucking uncle or some shit.
Imagine Molly Weasley just being like, I don't want you to see Harry.
Yeah.
You're going to get killed. He's
actually
not
so true. If their parents would have been like, I forbid you from
don't
playing
be
that
friends
boy.
with him. Let's just stay out of it.
Exactly. Why put yourself in the... Why be like... Because Voldemort will be like, and who's this guy next to you?
Yeah.
I know.
He killed Cedric Diggory. Hey guys, have you noticed everyone who hangs out with Harry Potter dies? Let's not be around him.
They'd definitely be talking about that without he's not in the room.
Exactly.
Or if Harry was late to class, if Harry's ever late to class, they'd be reading the roll, Pavati, here.
Lavender,
here. Harry?
Everyone rolls their eyes. Or Quarto, Expelliarmus.
Would they be like, anyone seen Harry? Oh, he was lurking by the restrict. Oh, he's probably
trying to kill someone.
Yeah, or getting killed. I guess we've got to care about that now.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Anyway.
Anyway,
I'm going to
today
teach
we're
you.
learning Ferroverto. This is how you turn a teacup into a fucking mouse. Wow, Professor McGonagall. All right, let's go on. Paragraph 1.
This always happens. All right. Quite frankly, Michael Carmichael had no intention of going back to Hogwarts this year. There was no way he wanted to go back there. He didn't feel safe or protected and felt like the staff were incapable of protecting students and were completely neglectful and abusive to students.
Which is true from what we've seen.
Exactly, and that's what we just said.
And you kind of think this is how Harry should feel. Maybe he does the first year, he murders one of his teachers by burning his face off, and maybe he's sitting at the Dursleys being like, you know what? Maybe I'll just stay here.
Yeah, yes, I slept under a staircase, but did they physically, deliberately try to murder me? No.
Seriously emotionally abusive, but I nearly got killed and I had to murder my teacher in order to survive at school.
You'd think he'd be like, you know what? Maybe I will just go to public school.
Yeah. I'll just be an accountant. Yeah. I'll have a good life. Once I get out of here, I'll probably have a good life.
If Harry just got a mug... anyway, we'll talk about Harry's muggle job another time, I guess. What would he do if he's just... Anyway. Okay, unfortunately, due to magical school rules, Michael and his friends, Rob Robson, Luke Lucas, Sam and Tom Sam Thompson, and Lockie Lockhart were forced to back to school and were making the most of their last few weeks of freedom.
Okay.
So they were forced to back to school.
They're forced to back to school.
I guess our parents forced us to back to school.
They did, yeah.
To go.
Yeah, I didn't want to go. My school sounds a lot like Hogwarts.
I think they're getting that out of this writing. Write what you know. I think I still laugh every time I hear the names Sam and Tom, Sam Thompson.
That's great.
It's very clever.
Hey, our surname is Sam Thompson. What should we call our twin boys? I mean, we have to call them Sam and Tom,
right? Right?
Hey, I'm Sam Thompson. This is my brother Tom Sam Thompson. It's a mouthful.
I've got a friend called Will Kingwill.
Oh, really?
So they did that. They were like,
yeah.
What are we going to call him? I don't know.
Could have been King Will. Or King William.
Well, if there was twins,
yeah.
they would have called one King and one Will.
King Will. That's basically it.
I'm sure he's loving getting the shout out. I'm sure he's listening. Go on, you kingers.
Does your sister still listen?
Probably not.
Hey, Lies Garlepp.
No, she might. She will.
Hey,
she
Lies.
She actually has a few times.
Cool.
As a consolation and surprisingly thought-out response to his near murder, Hermione Granger, the deputy headmaster of Hogwarts, had sent Michael a Flashboy T20, the newest broomstick from the Flashboy range of flying brooms. And he and the boys were enjoying flying around their hometown, throwing stink bombs at muggles from the sky and trying to scare them. That's not allowed.
That's
so not allowed.
But you know what I've been thinking as well? Like, it's actually not possible for the wizards to live without muggles knowing about them. I just think it's not possible.
Well, I guess, because he'd be going, like, do they all live in, like, the same... is there lots of, like Godric's Hollow is a big...
Yeah.
But muggles
also,
can go there, right?
Muggles can go there, but also half-bloods, right? How is the... Say, wizard man, muggle mum...
Yeah.
They send their kids to Hogwarts. Aren't the muggle grandparents going to be like, oh, what school is the kid going to? Oh, just a boarding school. Which one? Oh, it's just, this one. We're not allowed to talk. Like, everyone would know.
That's
you
true.
couldn't keep it a secret.
Why are you sending them to boarding school? I don't know. And your other kid's just at the local high school?
I don't know. Why are you being so secretive? I don't know.
We want to see our we want to see our grandchildren.
Why is our grandchild doing... Why don't you enroll them in sports? Oh, they play sports. Which ones? And why are all these brooms here?
Why do you have these old shitty brooms that are still made of twigs?
We bought you a new broom. We don't want that.
Seriously, it's like much lighter. It's plastic.
It's way easier to use.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Like, it just wouldn't work.
I don't think it would work, but maybe...
Who knows?
There's probably some
JK Rowling magic shit. Make it up in Sammy spells.
Well, she clearly didn't even bother, so why should I?
And also, this just shows all the characters in the book are just morally bankrupt. Like, these kids are just flying around abusing people for their own benefit. All the teachers are morally bankrupt. It's terrible.
I like it. The Flashboy T20. That's a good... It's
a cool name.
A Flashboy is a good range.
Flashboy, yeah. That's cool.
All right. I'm going to move on. Meanwhile, somewhere else. I like that.
No explanation of where. It just is somewhere else in the universe.
Okay. Meanwhile, somewhere else. Derek Derrickson had a weird year too. Not only did he get involved with Michael Carmichael and his friends' crazy adventures, but he had spent the summer having strange and remarkable dreams that he couldn't make sense of.
Okay.
And isn't that when the most exciting part of your summer is when you're asleep? I had a great summer. Had some awesome dreams. What did you do during the day? Nothing. Literally nothing.
I have no friends and nothing
No
to
friends
do.
at all.
Would love a Flashboy.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Why did the deputy headmaster only send them to you guys?
Well, she only sent him to Michael. Like, Derek nearly died as well. He was there. No Flashboy for me.
No. Just some cool dreams.
We should say Hermione is the only character who seems to have some right mind. She's sensible.
Why? But why then?
Does she allow Harry to be so neglectful?
And why is she the deputy? Anyway. Often, Derek would dream about being a powerful wizard who was worshipped by many and considered a hero. A recurring dream that couldn't be further from the truth.
That's true. Derek is an idiot.
Derek was an average wizard at school, was of exceptional low intelligence, and quite frankly, was speculated by many of being an idiotus, a magical idiot. I like that.
I still love that.
Yeah, you wrote, you did do a space. You wrote idiotus.
There is a space.
Yeah, but I rolled with it because I know the text. I've done a bit of research.
Yeah. I do love that magical idiot is a thing in the world. Like, there's, Muggleborns, Squibs, Idiotuses. We got to respect them. Idiotus is a scum.
No, you got to include them. Even if they're an idiotus. they didn't choose that. It's not their fault.
Parents' worst fear is that their child is an idiotus, which is... It is literally just, it's a magical idiot. Like, it's just, unfortunately, your son is an idiotus. He can continue at Hogwarts.
I guess it's like, you're bad. If someone's a normal idiot and they're bad at maths and they're bad at but just you're also bad at magic. Yeah. You've got the ability to do magic, but you're actually bad at it. Yeah. Whereas a normal idiot doesn't even have the ability to do it, so they're not.
And I think maybe in the first season they said that, the first book, they said Neville might be an idiotus or something, right. Yeah. Which does make sense.
But I like that he's just of exceptionally low intelligence. They're like, wow, he's really
so
dumb.
low that it's exceptional.
Wow, you don't see that.
You don't see people that dumb. And at his
exceptional.
age.
Yeah.
At his age as well.
Okay. That being said, ... Derek randomly showcased amazing magic ability that came from seemingly nowhere as he really sparked up last year in the final battle with Mr. Charger, Voldemort, and Boris Mailman. I'm putting a lot of the wrong emphasis on the wrong words, but I'll keep going. Okay. There was something weird going on with Derek. Well,
That's like,
we have always thought that.
but that's like in the, in the fourth book, Mad Eye Moody is obviously, what's his name? Barty Crouch Jr.
Oh,
in
yeah,
disguise.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
there was something weird going on with Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah.
Maybe Polyjuice related. I don't know.
We don't know.
It could
we
find out
we
later.
kept finding all the ingredients of Polyjuice potion around, and Mad Eye Moody was never there. We don't know. And like no one who knew Mad Eye, like Dumbledore, wasn't like, geez, he's acting completely different. And I've known him for years.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But don't you reckon Dumbledore, realistically, I don't know, maybe, hear me out. Should Dumbledore have been fired
Sorry,
for
I don't
what?
want to hear you out.
Okay, sorry, that's all right.
Sorry.
I was going to say, should Dumbledore have been fired for what happened to Mad Eye Moody? Like, imagine you hire someone to teach at your school, you're responsible for them, and you find out at the end of the year they spent the entire year locked at the bottom of like a trap door, and someone was impersonating him.
And the same year a student was murdered.
Yeah, and also Mad Eye Moody teaches them the unforgivable curses and uses them in the class, and Dumbledore wasn't like, that's weird.
You'd have a lot of parents being like, hey...
Not appropriate.
Not cool. Like my son came home and he did the Cruciatus Curse on me because he didn't want to do the dishes. And that was...
Who taught him that?
Who taught him that?
That's part of the syllabus. like Dumbledore should have been like, hey, Mad Eye, you're fired. You can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get someone else in. You can't do that.
Yeah, you think heads would roll and it would be the headmaster.
Yeah.
And, not to speak too much to our own lives, but at our old school, our headmaster, that's what happened to our headmaster. Rightfully so.
But he didn't use the Cruciatus.
No, but he...
Anyway,
but the same
you can
thing,
do your own research. It's all out there.
Yes, our headmaster didn't do it, but he
was responsible for the staff. Yeah.
Let's not get into it.
Yeah. Something weird was going on with Derek. And you know what? Can I just say,
can you?
So far this chapter is just set in the book up a bit.
I'm going to actually say it should... No. I think instead of being called the chapter that sets the book up a bit, it should be the chapter that explains what happened in the last book, because that's exactly what's happening here. During the sorting ceremony of his first year at Hogwarts, he wasn't sorted into a house. In fact, he was expelled by the sorting hat, only for Harry Potter to create a new house. Expelled. Name of the house. He was the only student in Expelled House whose colours were brown and green, which Harry Potter said he chose because of the colour of my poop. That's very unhealthy. I love that he's like...
brown isn't. The green is.
The green
definitely.
is. And the fact that it's like... For him to say that's the colour of my poop, it seems like that's a consistent issue. And that he chose it because the colour of my poop, and that would remind him that he is a disgrace to all wizards.
Okay, yeah. So it's like, Derek, you're in this house.
I did forget about Expelled House. That's a good house.
A good twist. Derek, you're in Expelled House. The colours are the colours of my shit because you're a fucking disgrace. That's what a headmaster is saying to a student.
I wonder if the colours change depending on Harry's stool.
It's a magical charm on the house colours. One day they end up blood red and Harry Potter stops coming to school.
Okay, here's what I'm imagining. The Expelled, I think you did maybe explain where the Expelled House common room was, but I'm going to imagine it is actually below like the headmaster's like toilet.
Yeah.
What happens is there's a big vial on the wall and like a giant one, like and he shits and it goes into that, and then you see what colours it is, and it fills up with shit, and that's the new colours for the week. And that, so
you constantly have to buy a new uniform.
Yeah.
Madam Malkin in Diagon Alley is just knitting more and more.
Lots of brown, lots of green, bit of red.
Oh, a bit of yellow. Harry,
yellow.
a bit of corn.
Yeah. That's fucking gross. All right. Over the summer, Derek did a lot of thinking. Well, as much thinking as someone as stupid as him could do. He realised he had very little memory and couldn't remember much of his life.
Oh.
That-
Something weird's going on with Derek. I can tell you that much.
I'm thinking that too. I'm trying to figure that up. But little did Derek know his year at Hogwarts this year would introduce him to a friend he could never forget, even though his memory is so bad. That was me. But
That was a little ad-lib from the audiobook.
here we go. I hope I make new friends at school this year, said Derek to his imaginary friend, G-Joe Junie.
Who I believe was mentioned in the
Yeah.
first book as well. So he's been a recurring character or non-character.
And I think we said about that it reminds us of Jojo Jr.
Junior Shabadoo.
Shabadoo
Yeah,
from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Mm. And am I pronouncing that correctly, G-Joe?
Sure. It's JE-JO space JUNI. G-Joe Junie.
Yeah, so G-Joe replied to Derek, but because he was imaginary, it would be impossible for me to tell what he said because I couldn't hear it.
Yet I can see that he replied,
see it.
but it's imaginary, so I couldn't hear it.
And, you know, I mean, you're supposed to be a know-all,
Omnipresent
an all-knowing
narrator.
narrator.
Yeah.
Omnipresent. God, that was the word I was looking for. Damn it. Outsmarted me again, Mike. All right. Meanwhile, in a completely different area, Harold Biscuits had spent the entire summer in hospital. Now I didn't know Harold's last name was Biscuits.
Yeah, I think that was mentioned at some point.
That's fantastic.
Clearly you didn't listen to every episode. 'Cause
I thought I did. Anyway,
I think it was Biscuits, yeah.
that's a great name. Harold Biscuits. Harold Biscuits. I wish my last name was Biscuits. Hey
Do you
guys,
reckon
come to
any-
Sam Biscuits.
Do you reckon anyone's surname is Biscuits? If you know a biscuit or a
Mm.
biscuit, I know there's like biscuits, but biscuits.
Well, it'd be like, what about Limp Biscuit?
I mean, I think that's the name of a band.
Okay.
It's not a Fred Durst was in Limp Bizkit, but
Well, like, you know how people their last name is like, I don't know,
Lamington.
or Blacksmith, no,
Like Smith.
Blacksmith?
Smith.
Oh,
There's probably
Smith.
someone
Smith comes
who's-
from Blacksmith.
Yeah.
So like they could be like Biscuit Smith or
They
something.
made biscuits back
Yeah.
in the day, yeah.
All right. Harold, being a were-basilisk, Harold was taken advantage of by Mr. Charger as a baby and was utilised last year in a plan that involved a huge structure called the Shaft of Light.
We never really found out what the Shaft of Life was or why they were using it.
Yeah, it was just a big... Was it from the sky or from the butt? I
No,
can't
it
really-
was just a big structure with a star.
Oh,
And
cool.
Yeah, anyway.
Cool.
Anyway.
Like a Christmas tree.
I guess we're just... It was basically a Christmas tree, yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, at no point... Oh, fucking hell, Mike. At no point in the first book did we ever explain what the Shaft of Light was, what it does, how it was built, and what happened to it. Anyway, next paragraph.
And in this book, a paragraph is one sentence.
Yes. With confusing grammar, so that I sound like an idiot. I sound like an idiotus when I'm reading this. Okay. When Harold failed Mr. Charger's bidding, he was brutally bashed and tortured, leaving him to be recovered in the hospital. Kind of a strange way of wording that as well. The problem was, Harold's parents didn't believe that this happened and thought that his were-basilisk behaviour had simply gotten out of control.
Okay.
You've got to believe were-basilisks.
Believe all were-basilisks.
But yeah, that's what I've said. I'm telling you, Mr. Charger, the potion... Oh, sorry, fuck.
So this is Harold speaking to his parents, I
I'm
think.
telling you, Mr. Charger, the potions teacher, used me, and when I didn't murder people for him, he did this to me, said Harold. Yes, Harold, said Mr. Biscuits, and I wrote the Nutty Professor.
Was
Oh my god.
So, Harold...
No, yeah, go.
That's like such a gaslighting thing to do. Oh, Mum, this boy at school beat me up. Oh, yeah, and I wrote Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, but I like that in Harold's family, Mr. Biscuits, he's like the absolute pinnacle of comedy. for him is the Nutty Professor.
Eddie Murphy's the Nutty Professor. Now, interestingly, I wonder if Eddie Murphy is a wizard and that's how he plays all the different characters in the Nutty Professor.
That's so... I've never thought about that.
Because I think we talked about this at one point. Do wizards see Muggle movies or do they have their own movies? You know?
Oh, yeah. And then what would be the... Like, would they actually film a movie or would it be just like...
A moving newspaper picture or something? Like,
Oh, that's... Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. And that's another reason why Muggles would know about wizards. Because, like, you couldn't put a movie
Because they'd never go to
out-
the movies. You'd be like, hey, do you want to come to the movies? And they'd
No.
be like, the what?
Yeah, the what?
And they're like...
You know, like the moving pictures. Oh, like the Daily Prophet. What's that? Nothing.
Nothing.
Orchidus expellius. Again.
Told you. So useful.
It is good.
So we've already used Extracto or Quadius 3
Which
times.
I've changed to Orchidus expellius.
Well, and we didn't lock in... Yeah.
We didn't lock in an incantation.
Sorry, because you can invent spells. As like we know...
Sectum Semper is an invented spell, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I mean, maybe I should make Extracto Orquidius or whatever a non-verbal spell. Therefore...
Not having that
Not having to
caveat
say.
that I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so, think about that.
So Mr. Biscuits is gaslighting his son and says, yeah,
I wrote the
and
note.
I wrote the Nutty Professor.
Harold's
A
side.
movie I haven't seen in a very long time, by the way.
Probably since about year 7, I'm saying.
When, was that even out? No, it came
Nutty
out in
Professor,
the 90s,
yeah,
didn't it?
surely.
Yeah, okay.
Harold's side. At least he had some amazing friends at Hogwarts. None of his best friends, like Michael and Rob, had written to him over the summer. In fact, it didn't seem like they cared about him at all. But he knew that wasn't true. He was certain Dobby was blocking all the letters they were sending him, like he did the Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets. Yes, that's what was happening.
Even though Dobby has been dead in this timeline for 50 years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess you didn't know... Anyway, when the writer of this didn't know Dobby had died.
No, I think this came out...
Oh,
I
okay.
wrote this after the last book came out, I think, yeah. But yeah.
So, he's like, I had my best friends who seem like they don't care about me at all, but it just,
And it did seem like Michael and Rob and the other boys didn't care at all about...
Yeah.
About...
it's getting
about
lost in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be. That's the
Yeah.
only explanation. Why else wouldn't they, right?
Yeah, definitely. Here you go, said one of the nurses at St. Mungo's Hospital, which is what seems like the only medical/healthcare location in the wizarding world, which seems strange.
Like, is there a GP? Or because Madame Pomfrey's a nurse,
Oh, yeah.
but is there a GP for wizards, or can they just cure everything?
I don't know.
And also, I just thought of another one. Madame Pomfrey says she can mend bones in an instant, right? So it's actually unethical for the magic world to hide this revolutionary medical technology from the Muggles.
100%.
There are Muggles suffering from
Yeah.
ailments that wizards could probably cure easily.
Oh, for sure. And what about, what's that other spell? What is it?
Aguamenti,
Aguamenti?
the water spell.
Yeah, produce water. I mean, there are thousands,
Starving people.
millions of people starving,
Yeah.
dying of thirst.
Yeah. And what's the excuse?
And they could just go over and go, Aguamenti.
Because for us, it's like it's expensive. Aid for third world countries is expensive. That doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. But for them, if there's wizards there with wands, Aguamenti. There you
Done.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're often talking on this podcast about aid for third world countries. And
Yeah.
actually,
How
developing countries.
Yeah.
You don't say third world anymore.
Oh, don't you?
I'm pretty sure. I think it's a
didn't know
developing
that.
country.
Okay. there you
So,
go.
schooled you. Okay, she can, because there's a spell for healing bones,
Yeah.
which is the one that Lockhart tried to do on
Yeah.
Harry, didn't work. But then there's also,
Brachiam. Ilmende.
oh, like it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
But there's also Skelegro, which
yeah.
so I guess if you can't, I guess,
Just mass produce Skelegro.
I guess for people who can't do the spell,
Mm.
you'd do Skelegro.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, but that's when you don't have any, but fuck.
Who knows? Who knows? There's so many gaps.
Anyway, write in if you know what the hell we're talking about.
Write in if you don't.
Write in. Just write in.
Just write in. RadioMikePod@gmail.com.
Okay, the St. Mungo's hospital nurse handed Harold a potion. As long as you take this potion every day, you won't become a basilisk anymore. Except if the full moon is extremely strong. How will you know if it's extremely strong? I don't know. Oh, Harold. But if this has always existed, why didn't I have it my whole life, said Harold. Well, I was too busy writing The Nutty Professor, said Harold's dad. And everyone except Harold laughed.
You can tell this day of my life in 2007, The Nutty Professor was on TV. You can just tell.
And
because I have no memories of that movie.
And your dad in real life was probably like, well, I wish I'd thought of this. You know, I had this idea a few years ago. I never wrote it. I should have written it down.
But Harold does pose a great question. It's like, hang on, this potion that stops me being a were-basilisk has always existed, but you've never given it to me until now. Oh, well, the Nutty Professor, right?
Yeah. Okay, Harold. Jeez, bit of sass.
Pure gaslight.
We didn't think of it in time. You didn't remind us.
There's only one hospital in the wizarding world.
We can't
look after everyone.
You're going to take a bed from someone else? Don't worry, Harold, the nurse said. Her name was Barbara.
Cool.
Why bring her name up now? As the writer, you could have either brought it up at the top. But now,
by the way,
in the middle
her name was Barbara.
Yeah.
She had a name tag.
Yeah. Now that you're here, we can always take care of you. There are people who have come to St. Mungo's who we thought were beyond help. People who had been driven crazy or had their memories wiped or some crazy stuff that happened to them. But thanks to our research and care, even people like that were able to go back and live normal lives. Now, before I go, she turned to Harold's dad. Could I get your autograph? I love the Nutty Professor.
And that's a great, setup, follow-up, third one.
That's pretty good from young Mike.
That's actually pretty clever.
Oh my God, I can't even read the next line. Can't show.
What does it say? So
she's just
but
asked.
Also, now it's ambiguous as to whether he did write the Nutty Professor on.
I know. Did he actually write it?
Or does she just believe that he did?
I think we should look up
the writer of the Nutty Professor
and see if it was Harold Biscuits.
Harold's dad.
Oh, sorry, Mr.
Biscuits. We'll look it up and we'll reveal on the next episode.
Anyway, Barbara says, can I have your autograph? I love the Nutty Professor. The next line is, Harold's dad did finger guns to her and signed her boobs. This one, just hey, and then open up and signed her boobs. And that's the end of the chapter.
I always, you know what though, and I don't want to, I'd love to sign someone's boobs.
Okay, yeah.
So if we ever do a live show and you want me to sign your boobs, I'll sign them.
Yeah.
I wrote the Nutty Professor.
Male, female.
Yeah, whoever you are. Maybe we'll do only signing boobs. You have to pay extra to sign something else.
Free boob signings. Wow.
$1 for anything else.
So generous of you, Mike. Wow. I guess you got to have a specific level of fame to
sign a boob.
Sign a boob, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess so.
And I got to say, not to bring us down a peg, I don't think comedians are in the realm of they don't have fans that want their boobs signed.
Melbourne comedians who do Harry Potter podcasts.
But even the big guys, the ones that everyone loves.
You reckon?
Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K. Although, no, I'm kidding. But Ricky Gervais, I don't think anyone.
You don't think Ricky Gervais is signing boobs? Has anyone had their boobs signed? Who from and why?
Or signed boobs.
What is it? Is it a sexual thing or is it just a funny thing? Is it sexy to have a man sign your boobs or is it just funny? That's what I want to know.
I didn't think that would be the final solicit of the podcast.
Who signed your boobs? 131060. Give us a call. No, 1-800-438-353 is my phone number you can call if you want to leave a message.
Oh, yeah, because then you can do it anonymously as well.
Yeah, you can do it anonymously. But yeah.
Okay, so Harold's dad. I just love the finger guns and sign the boobs. Didn't seem... Yeah. Well, I hope Barbara enjoys that.
I'd love for a future plot line to be the actual writer of The Nutty Professor is trying to kill Harold's dad for taking credit.
We really should look that up. Wow. Okay, well, what a chapter. So, it really just... There's a lot of just explaining what happened in the last one.
Kind of getting an idea of where the boys are at now over the summer. They don't want to go back. Everyone's pretty upset. Harold is hospital bedridden. His dad wrote The Nutty Professor. Could be important later. Could not.
That could actually, remember that for later. Yeah. I think that will come back because in the past I've speculated about things not coming back, and I was wrong.
Now you're gonna commit to things coming back. Yeah.
I'm gonna go away and look up the exact plot of The Nutty Professor.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It'll be great if this story
follows exactly.
But can I say, The Nutty Professor has not been a movie of any importance in my life, so it's funny that it's getting so much.
Because usually, Shrek.
Yeah, Shrek. Lilac Wars.
Don't go back to Lilac Wars.
I'd love to see Falco from Lilac Wars again. Well, that's the end of Ep 2.
Wow.
Any big predictions you want to make?
Well, nothing.
Nothing's happened.
Nothing has happened yet. I guess the others were at the beach, so I think they're going to go back to school.
Yeah.
And it's called the Team Wizard Tournament is the name of the second book.
So I guess you can predict that might happen.
I think there will be a tournament at school.
Guys,
I think things might go a bit awry.
I mean, you'd hope not. I think they'd have all the
I think they'll have
security in place.
Year at school.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. Guys, get in touch with the show. Our posts coming back weekly. RadioMikePod@gmail.com, radio.mike on Insta, Sam Garlepp on Insta.
Yep.
If you are keen to get DMs from people, please follow Sam. And then do you want to plug your upcoming Comedy Fest show?
Sure. Yeah, actually. Yeah. That's a great idea.
I mean, that's sort of a good thing you can do.
Tickets are on sale for if you live in Melbourne or you're traveling to Melbourne, Australia, the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. My show is called Sam Garlepp. You'll like this one.
Yeah, great.
And so buy some tickets.
Yeah, cool. So
if you want.
Can't wait to see you for the next ep for Chapter 3. I will sign it off with Goodbye Gamores. See you later, guys. Thank you very much. Can I sign your boobs?
I thought you'd never ask.
This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys was brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. For as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week at patreon.com/Radio Mike. And search 20th Century Boy on your favorite podcast app to hear more from me every single week. See you there. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, radiomikepod@gmail.com.